Yes, I'm really satisfied today. I would say both personally and professionally. I've reached a great, work-life balance that enables me to be challenged every day at work in a very international and I would say exciting environment, but also to have plenty of time to enjoy every bit of my life. And I think that we all aspire to it. So yeah, really satisfied. Yeah, well, I'm not really an expert on this topic, and especially because the CV requirements, depending on the country, differs. But I'd say, as a general rule, the clearer, the better.
Okay.
So the CVs need to be, visually attractive, concise, but for example, never leave blank spots. Try to fill in the CV, and it has to be as close as possible to the reality of what you really are. Although, for example, in my case, living in Spain, we can see that some people tend to enhance their CV. And as for the cover letter, well, you have to be persuasive without being pompous, and recruiters really want to see who you are, what you can bring to the company, what you've done in the past. And I would really advise to do your homework. So if you're applying for a job position in a company, dive into the business, dive into what they're doing, what you can bring to them, depending on what you've done in the past or what you've been studying or a business game you've done at the university or whatever, and kind of sell it in your cover letter. Um, yeah, well, I think it's highly recommended to have previous experience, like internships or apprenticeships, in order to be more attractive for hiring companies. In my case, I did my master two internship abroad in Madrid, in Spain, in Bosch. And after that, I didn't have to look for a job. Companies reached out to me through LinkedIn. So, of course, there might be a bit of luck in this story, but I'm really highly convinced that experience increases attractivity, for companies.
Okay.
So, where I really encourage IAE students to be, I would say, extremely demanding and picky is on the choice of their internship,
Okay.
because it will surely determine their future professional path. I've been a student myself. I know that sometimes it's a pain in the neck to look for an internship. We kind of don't want to do it. Then there's billions of companies. We don't know where to start, but really take time for it. And when I say choose your internship, I, sometimes when a company accepts us, we're like, yes, I have the internship, good.
Yeah.
No, I think we really should be picky on it and send probably 100 of curriculums, and we'll get 98 rejection letters if we get them. And then those two acceptance letters that you will receive, be picky on it. If you like one of those, take it. If it will fit your professional aspirations, take it. If the two of them don't accept it, go ahead, look for another one, and talk to the IAE and say, well, I won't start in April. I will start in May. I need an extra month to look for an internship, and that's really important. In my case, I was really picky for the Master Two internship. I probably sent 150 application letters. I got 147 rejection letters. And then I found one that really suited what I was expecting. And from this on, that's a luck, I know, but I haven't been looking for a job. The companies reached out to me. So, as a summary, I would say two things: do internships, as many as possible. And the second one, have your LinkedIn profile really up to date and well constructed, because 90% of the recruiters start their research in LinkedIn. Well, the first tip is be picky, really, because you will get millions of rejection. That's not a problem. Just assume it. We've all been there. And the second advice, I can hear myself. There is an echo. Yeah.
Okay.
And the second advice is that yes, it's hard to get inside big companies, but at the same time, those companies have internship programs, apprenticeship programs, so there's offers in those companies. It might be a bit harder if those people you're talking about, the students, want to get into big companies in France, because the IAE is not like a huge private business school that can give you already the internship and you really have to do an extra effort to get in. But in my case, for example, abroad, um, I couldn't see this difference between coming from the private school or coming from the IAE, which is the public university. So I would say insist. Go if you want to go to wherever, Austria, pick a list, go on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is to me the best tool to find an internship, a job, and to communicate with people already inside the organization. And they all also publish the offers. So go there, apply for it. It takes a lot of time to apply for like to all of the companies, but something will will appear. Administration, yeah, it can be tough. There's, yeah, first of all, a lot of groups, a group of French people on social networks. So you can start there, reach out to them on Facebook, Instagram, wherever. First of all, because they can help the newcomers to the country, and also because you can build relationships with people. So that's, I would say, the first step, a step that I didn't do, but I know that it exists and it works well, and people can help you. And the one that I'm using in my daily life is to reach out to the consulate. So the French consulate, wherever you are, there will always be one, and they always publish news about the administrative paperwork, about, for example, how to renew your ID card, what's the status of the pandemic, for example, right now, how you can go back to France or to wherever else. And in my case, Madrid's French consulate is really, really active on being close to its community. So that really helps. We also have a WhatsApp number, and they, like the deputy, directly texts us to give us some news about the election, about pandemic, about everything. I really think the consulate is a very good tool to reach out to, both physically and virtually, because they're really active usually on their networks to communicate with their people. Also because they want to be re-elected, so they have to be close to us. Yep, it is. Especially because, as we said before, I had the chance to work in three big companies, like multinational companies, and it's kind of an obligation for them because they have a lot of visibility, and if they're not eco-friendly, I mean, the consumer wouldn't bet for them. So, for example, right now I'm working in Philips Lighting, and Philips Lighting is doing a lot of work on how to save energy because all of the bulbs are LED, so it's like very low consuming light, you know. We're looking for ways to develop, for example, agriculture with our lights. So it's like the concern for ecology in Philips Lighting is huge. We're a completely carbon-free company, so which is excellent, and there's really few companies who can say that. And especially in my branch in procurement, we always have to look for certified providers to work with them. You see what I mean, right? So they have to not emit a certain level of carbon or plant trees or whatever. And it's really important that in the whole supply chain, you can claim that you're carbon free. You know. So yeah, there is this concern about ecology. I wouldn't say always. I wouldn't say everywhere. There's still a lot of things to do, but I think we're getting there little by little. Yeah, I think the IAE, however we call it in English, was definitely a good choice. As I told you, I've always told myself that I refuse to pay for an overpriced private business school, and I'd rather bet on the public university. And as of today, I can confirm that you can reach all of your objectives uh, through this branch without having to start your professional life with a considerable loan. You know,
Yes.
so that was a good choice. Plus, I can say that the quality of the education received at the IAE has nothing to envy to private schools. Why do I know that? Because I compared it with my friends who were in those private schools. So, for example, they were having in their masters probably 15 to 20 hours of lectures, and we were having way more in the IAE. Plus, we are sharing teachers. It's like the same teacher is teaching at the private school and at the public university. So it's like there's nothing to envy, and I think IAE is a very good school. It's certified as well, so that was a good choice. What to say? I'm not sure everyone is made to go abroad, but what I'm sure of is that going abroad is beneficial for everyone. So what I'd say to this kind of person is that travels are really life-changing experiences. That's a bit basic, but it's really true. And that open your mind, that make you grow. We also learn from travels, both in good and bad moments, because there are bad moments when you're abroad. And that gives you perspective, that makes you reflect on your own culture, habits, personalities, and then you can compare, it makes you evolve. So if you have the chance as students to be able to travel, or you're offered an internship abroad or an Erasmus abroad, go ahead. You will come back with a lot of stories to tell. Yeah, well, the main learning that I have maybe is has to put in practice everything that everything taught at the university and during my entire education. Because sometimes when sitting at school, you forget that you'll need everything, every bit of what you're being taught in the near future. And when you finally enter a company and work in an area, in a department that you've been studying for, like myself with procurement, you understand that everything was how to say that, essential for the real professional life. So as for the learnings of those, I don't know how many years already. I would say professionalism. I would say discipline. I would say creativity. I would say flexibility. Flexibility is really essential. You have to, but I mean, if you've been traveling, if you we all come from different places. We've been traveling a lot. We do have flexibility, so we do have to apply this flexibility to the work environment, and that's really essential for a company. And then commitment. Commitment is to me the basics of whatever job you have. You have to wake up in the morning. You have to do your homeworks. You have to do your job. You have to commit to the company and to your position.